thank you to The Economist for giving me this opportunity to provide some insights on this panel. Dear ladies and gentlemen, following the combination of significantly high energy prices, unprecedented headline and now core inflation, aggressive policy tightening, and exceptional uncertainty, the risk of stagflation is clearly rising. In the current environment, to my mind, the right approach to tackle challenges relates to actions to overcome short-term pressures and focus on long-term value. Today I will focus on the latter, although I would like to make a point on the former before proceeding. Short-term pressures should be tackled by swift government responses across the globe, but those need to have the following characteristics: be timely, targeted, and temporary. Fiscal policies should strike the right balance between supporting the monetary policy stance and protecting vulnerable households. For governments to be able to deliver on this front, they need to have the necessary fiscal buffers, which we should not forget that were depleted during the pandemic. And now turning to longer value. Only nations with long-term planning orientation looking for ongoing reforms which ensure resilience to adapt to unexpected events can successfully navigate through such unprecedented times. This has been the effort at the National Economic and Competitiveness Council since our appointment, just before the emergence of the pandemic, to create a long-term economic strategy which seeks the implementation of necessary reforms aiming to enhance the economy's resilience and competitiveness and pave the way forward for sustainable trajectory of growth. As a first step, through a competitive process, PwC was commissioned by the European Commission's DG Reform to provide support for the development of a long-term economic strategy for Cyprus. The Minister's continuous support has been instrumental to deliver this strategy. Over the course of our work, we have engaged stakeholders from across the country, public and wider public sector, businesses, the academia, the civil society, and worked closely with authorities and the European Commission to identify Vision 2035. The vision, as mentioned by Philippos, is to transform the country to one of the world's best places to live, work, and do business. This long-term strategy aims to transform the current economic model so that it addresses the global and local challenges, including digitalization, automation, climate change, and rising levels of competition from within and outside the EU in a way that ensures long-term sustainable development. The strategy lies its foundations on two main pillars. One, horizontal drivers, setting the economy on the right foundation by fixing long-standing and structural weaknesses which will help the private sector to be competitive, resilient, and operate more effectively. This includes preparing the current and future workforce to the challenges of the future. But it also means building new, more efficient public institutions, rethinking systems and processes in the public sector, all of which will help steer Cyprus towards a more competitive, green, and digital future, consistent with Europe's priorities. The second pillar is the vertical drivers, identifying and nurturing the sectors that will drive future long-term growth in an environmentally and socially sustainable manner. Besides the traditional sectors of the economy, we put special focus on the following subsectors that Cyprus could and should capitalize on: tertiary education, solar energy, agro-tourism, and health and wellness tourism, and agri-tech. We also highlight the strategic importance of light manufacturing, specifically in generics, pharmaceuticals, manufacturing, and food manufacturing. We are also reinforcing the importance of the professional services sector as central to the future of the Cyprus economy and its position as a knowledge-based economy. That is ship management, headquartering of ICT firms and other corporates, or growing and emerging opportunities in fintech and cybersecurity. This action plan to deliver Vision 2035 consists of 242 initiatives, which cover all horizontal and vertical areas. Around 40% of these initiatives across all areas are also included, partially or fully, in the Cyprus Recovery and Resilience Plan. Simply put, the long-term economic strategy and the RRP are communicating vessels and are fully aligned. Vision 2035 is not a theoretical exercise, but a plan where its implementation is already underway. And this is what makes this time different. We have seen different economic strategies, propositions in the past, which unfortunately have mostly remained in the drawers. This time is different for three key reasons. Number one, the strategy is linked to a budget, is linked to money, and there has been a lot of effort to achieve this. Second, the strategy is accompanied by an action plan with practical recommendations and specific timelines. Third, the strategy has ownership. Each initiative has a specific owner, and it's under the monitoring of the Ministry of Finance. Ladies and gentlemen, the actual work really begins now. We have an ambitious plan in place, one that all Cypriots should feel proud of, and in order to achieve this, political consensus and commitment are required from all actors, including parties, the civil service, social partners, business, and the overall support of the society. It is up to us to succeed. Thank you.